Hey everyone, TimUDF here, and this is ZQuest. I don't claim to be an expert on this program, but I know some of you have had questions for a long time, and I said I was going to do this anyway in the past, so now it's time to actually do that. How about a freaking amazing, man? So, this is ZQuest. What do we do in it? We make Zelda games! How do we do that? We make Zelda games! Okay, stop it. Anyway, so on the right here, I'm just going to kind of go through some of the basics. We have a tile sheet. We can use it to set down tiles by left-clicking on any tile we want. We can edit tiles by right-clicking them, and you get this screen. And this is the type of tile it is. None is the tile type you'll see for most of them, but some of them have specific things, like this one is a cave, walk down. That means when Link walks into it, he's going to vanish and walk down it, because he's entering a cave of some kind. This one is water. You can't go over water. It turns red. Well, I don't know. It might be pink. I can't tell, like, different shades of, like, stuff like that. So, yeah, I know that's blue. I don't know what that one's for, though. But in any case, so let's just kind of take a look around here a bit. What are we doing? Down here on the bottom left, we have a map screen count. Right now, we only have 2 maps, and we can scroll through them using the period or the comma. And the screen number we can scroll through by using the arrow keys. We can't go into the negative zone. We cannot go beyond 87. Some screens have already been filled in, but I'll get to those later. Well, assuming you're using the NES tile set. If you're using a custom tile set, those screens may not be filled in. We will get to that on a case-by-case basis. But anyway, so we're going to start on map 1, and we're just going to go to screen 77, because that was the number I gave someone in an example when I was talking to him on MSN. In any case, so now what we have are these menus, and we're interested in the quest one right now because we want to start the game. We want to start building our game. So let's go ahead and go down to header, because this will tell us what we're doing. This will tell us our basic information about our quest here. And it says 1.934, but it is 2.100. It will change as soon as I save it here, so don't worry about that. Leave your quest number at 0. Custom quests have to be 0. Do whatever you want with the minimum min versions. I don't remember if you can go below 1.0 or not, but I do remember that if you have someone who's playing like 0.5 of your quest, but you require 1.0, they have to re-download and start over the quest, or they won't be able to finish it. So make sure you keep updating that as time passes. And then title it whatever you want. Tutorial Zors by TimUDF. Password and key file kind of go together. You can set a password so that nobody can edit your quest but you, but it gets kind of tedious to put in the password every time you want to edit your own game. So if you use save key file, it'll give you some kind of .key file that, as long as you leave it in the folder ZQuest is in, you'll be able to open your quest without having to use a password anyway. Speaking of saving, it is F2. You will be getting far familiar with the F2 key, my friends. Far too familiar. So let's save it as now, and name it whatever you want, and make sure it's in your ZQuest folder somewhere. Now, on Vista and 7, you may run into problems with program files. I know I am, so I don't know why I'm still doing it, but so far I've been able to make it work, so whatever, we're just going to do it. Down here in Quest, rules. Rules basically depict a way like how you want the game to play. If you leave all of these completely blank, you're going to have the exact same type of gameplay as you would have had on the NES Legend of Zelda game, the first Zelda game ever made. Let's go to my other quest really quick. Some of the rules I tend to use are stuff like solid blocks. You know, you don't want to be able to push a block into another block and have one of them disappear. Temporary no return disabled. I don't know exactly what this one does, but it was enabled when I got this tile set, so I just kind of left it there. Animation things, faster dungeon scrolling maybe. Cool scrolling. Big Triforce pieces are basically if you want only 4 Triforce pieces instead of 8. And then you can even modify that further with saying you only need 3 to get into the final level or 6 smaller pieces to get into the final level. And stuff like let your player view the overworld map, show their game time. They have to kill all the bosses on a screen, otherwise they can only kill one, leave the screen, come back, and everything will be dead. Continue with full life. I'm playing around with getting rid of this, but for now I'm just going to leave it checked for testing purposes. Things like, do you want sparkles on the boomerang and the arrows? No flashing enemy death. No sprite flicker. Can keep old items. Basically, yeah, these are just kind of the quest rules I've decided to use. I don't know what all of them do exactly, but I'm just kind of having at it. One particular thing I like is no random clocks. You know, I don't know. I don't think that should have stuck around as a Zelda item, and I'm kind of glad it didn't. I just don't really like the item. Fast messages, you know, you don't want to have to listen to that doot, 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 doot thing over and over again, so you can hold the A button to make that faster. In-game, rather. Enable magic, of course, because the game doesn't initially use magic, it was the NES. And you can choose what items use magic. Usually it'll just be the wand. I don't know how the boots could use magic, like maybe when you're walking over the spikes it forces them, I don't know. Some basic things with the enemies. Weapon animation fix, I suppose, and show shadows. And on this page, just translucent shadows and no bomb palette flash. Don't know what that one does, but it sounds important and fancy, so I checked it. Oh, and make sure you check new enemy tiles, I believe, all the time. So you at least want some, like, quest rules checked, depending on how you want to play the game. Alright. Let's go ahead and actually start building the game. We can create our first screen ever. And we're going to do it with these tiles here. So you can draw tiles in a different way. If you right-click on the screen, you can see different ways you can draw with the tile sheet on the right, which are, I guess, are called combos. They look like tiles to me, but they are called combos officially, it seems. You can flood the screen with whatever you select, or you can just left-click, and there you place the tile. Congratulations, and Captain Blue no longer owns the screen because we placed a tile on it. Now, if you select one of these other ones, it's not actually going to draw the same tile over and over again. It's actually going to draw the tiles that are next to it. So let's draw a 4x2 so you can see what I mean. See, it didn't draw just this ground. It drew the dirt next to it, whatever the heck this is, the stairs, the Armos Knight, the tree, and all that other stuff. That's because that's how it appears here, see? This is like a 1x1. If I were to draw these two, it would be a 2x1. If I drew these four, it would be a 2x2. That's how it's reading it here. So if you just want to draw the dirt, you just actually can click and drag. But if you don't want to do that for the whole screen, because that gets kind of tedious, right-click again, and go to Replace, because if you want a screen to start out as having like all ground or something, just replace it, and now look, our whole screen is just ground here. We can do whatever we want after that. You can do this with any tile. I can make the whole screen full of Armos Knights if I want. And then Link is just completely screwed. But no, we want Link to have a fighting chance, so we're going to start with dirt. Let's take our trees here, and let's just build a generally uninspiring first screen, because we need something to start with. Probably don't want those trees down here. How do we get rid of them? Well, you can either go to Edit and Undo, which will undo all of your last move, although it doesn't seem to work, so I want. I'll leave those trees there. Let's go ahead and put a lake in here, too, for no particular reason. I won't make it a small lake, though. So it's just a little pond, really. But it's something. It's literally just click and place the tile. Kind of fun. I like placing tiles. And then we want to right-click, select combo, get rid of that little typo / misclick error there. And now we have a general screen. I want to put a tree stump on this screen, or like this thing here. But this, I don't know, it looks kind of weird, doesn't it? Because a whole tree wouldn't be green, you know, the bark would be brown. So how do we fix that? Everything here is green, and if we scroll using shift and page down, shift page up, or to go faster you can do control page down, control page up, or to scroll you can just hold shift and use the arrow keys. I prefer up and down though, because if you start going left to right, see the lake now that we had firmly like next to itself is now it's off like center and everything. It's all weird. Whoops, went off the screen by mistake. Sorry about that. So if we scroll down here, we look around, we don't see any brown trees. So how do we fix this? We do it with color sets rather. On the bottom right here of this little screen part, where it has our tutorialzors.quest information, you see CSET 2. You can change the CSET simply by hitting the plus or minus signs on your keypad, which I don't believe... No, doing it on the regular keyboard does not work. So for laptops now, this is where it kind of got annoying in the past because you have to hit number lock and turn on the keypad that way. So yeah, but anyway, if we scroll to CSET 3, you'll see this tree looks a bit more realistic, so we're going to place it there. When I draw 2x2, it draws the whole tree because the tree takes up 2x2 combo tiles. And maybe I want another tree over here. And then I'm just going to draw half a tree right here, and I'm going to click the other half of the tree and I'm going to draw it here. Why am I doing this? To confuse the player? No, it's not. Because I'm going to put this little entryway head here. I'm sure you guys recognize this from the NES Legend of Zelda. But there was like just a black square down here. So we want to go to that cave walk down square I was talking about earlier. It's combo 54 in the NES tile set. If you're using your own tile set, you're going to have to find it yourself. Or make one. So there we go. Now we've got two trees just kind of lingering around this pond area. Now we have a larger tree with an opening in it that Link will be able to walk into eventually. But speaking of Link, where is he? Where is he going to go? Will we scroll down and find a Link tab? Or not a Link tab, but a Link tile? No, I don't see one. And no, that's not what we do anyway. It's not. Because the way we're going to actually place Link is with another page of this thing here. So if you just hit page down, now this bottom part of the screen changes to something else. You notice we've got a rupee, some stairs, blue and green warp tiles, and some kind of flag. What we're interested in is this green tile right here. Because this green tile signifies where Link will appear on the D-map. What's a D-map? Don't worry, I'm going to get to that soon. So for now, let's just put this somewhere, and there's your XY coordinates, 152.96. So what that says is when Link enters the D-map that we'll eventually make, he's going to appear at coordinates 152.96. So now how do we do all that? Well, we're going to climb back up here to Quest, and we're going to go to D-maps. We've got a ton of D-maps. Too many D-maps. Let's just pick one D-map to work with. So double-click on D-map 0, and we're going to name it something that'll make it easy for us to recognize. The player won't see this ever. So we're going to name it just Overworld or something. And it will be on map 1 because that's the map we're working on instead of 2. Type now we want to change to Overworld so that we get the whole thing on the screen here. I don't really have too many topics to talk about on my own. As for continue, this basically means where will Link appear if the game is restarted, if he dies, will he come back? Yeah, we want him to come back. We were on screen 77, so let's just put in 77. And make sure to click the continue here checkbox. Appearance. Leave the color alone for now. It's just leave it alone for now, and I'll explain that later when we do a dungeon or something. D-map title is just what the player will see on the top, on the top left corner. So I'm going to put in something simple like Hyruzo Field. And you can center it by spacing and whatnot. D-map intro pretty much means it'll give you a message the very first time you appear on the D-map. As for music, I haven't put any custom music in this game yet, so let's just pick the basic NES Legend of Zelda Overworld. And subscreen maps, I never really mess with these. It's basically if you want something to look different. If you want the subscreens to look different, I never really care to have them look different. So that's all set. Now we're going to hit OK. And now when we're done here, I'm going to save as soon as I can. So I've got my finger on the F2 key because sometimes when you change the music around, ZQuest tends to crash, and I don't like that. I don't know why it does that. So anyway, we've saved it. And what we've done now is we've created the D-map called the Overworld / Hyruzo Field in the actual quest itself. For those of you not familiar, yes, I can say Hyrule correctly, don't worry. But anyway, so we've placed where Link will appear on this D-map now. It knows the D-map is map 1 on the Overworld, but how does Link get there? He gets there through the initialization data. This is basically where you can change what Link is going to start with. Like if you want to test out your Master Sword or something, give him the Master Sword. Or if you want the player to start with something specific, this is where you determine that. Same thing with the items. Want them to already have the arrows, the hook shot, the lens of truth, something to that accord. DMAP items, this one looks daunting, but it's really not at all. Basically, like, if we had, this is the DMAP number, we're on 0. So like if it were a dungeon and we wanted the player to have the map initially, like if we were testing something maybe, or if we wanted them to have the boss key or the compass, that's basically what those stand for. K, I'm pretty sure it stands for key, but that function seems to be obsolete because over here in miscellaneous, we can just have the player start with a number of keys that we want. And this is where you can set the final data, including the starting DMAP, and you'll notice it defaults to our 0 overworld right there. That's exactly what we want, so we're going to leave that alone. We could have the player start on any one of the DMAPs we make throughout the game, but for now we'll have them start on the overworld. And click OK, save it up, even though I don't think we did anything, and that should actually be it. So can we test it now? You bet we can test it. Let's head on over here. I'm going to delete a file, open up Zelda Classic. What you do is map your A key, go to register your name, hit start, and type in whatever you want, hit the A button again so you can open a custom quest. Go to browse, look for your folder. Yes, that's why I had to name it Tutorial Zors, is because I already have a tutorial quest. And now at this point you can hit start to begin the game. And look at that! It's the screen we just made, and it's Link. He's walking around. You could actually leave the screen at this point, but you don't want to because there's nothing around. In any case, that's basically how you start the game, and how you can load the game to test to see if everything is working properly. We will be doing this a lot. And yes, the Zelda Classic screen is pretty small. You can still see Z-Quest in the background there. But in any case, this is basically just how you start off with a quest. Like I said, I might have said it before, I didn't really have a script or anything coming into this thing. I just kind of wanted to show this off as a way to get you guys started on your own quests. You don't necessarily have to use the NES Legend of Zelda tile set. If you want me to use a different tile set when I explain other things, let me know. I could use the tile set from my other quest, and we can do it there. And I think that will do it for this episode. Next time, we're going to actually do something with this cave, and we're going to give Link a sword, and we're going to give Link some enemies to fight, and maybe make another screen. I don't know. This will be really topic-based, so if you guys have specific questions, make sure they get to me, and I'll try to make a video with that kind of topic. Like, I know someone wants to know how to do layers, so the next, well, maybe not the next video, but some video will have a layer explanation, how you do layers and whatnot. You guys will probably have questions, and I'm going to try my best to answer them, even though I'm not a legit expert on this thing. I just kind of know what I'm doing, and I try to do it the best that I can. That's how I'm designing this thing right here, my Silent Fade quest. So in any case, I will see you guys next time for more Z-Quest tutorial / topic answer question thingamajigs of Doom. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you later.